wait, I am skipping a whole big part of this story. It's story time. Yay. Story time! Woo! Hello, everybody, and happy Mermaid Monday. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I wanted to sit down and talk to you all about how I got my first tail and what that story was like. So, without further ado. Alright, so if you watched some of my other videos, you probably know that I am pretty new to the mermaid community. I've been a mermaid for less than a year. I actually got my first tail this past March of 2019, and before that I really only knew about the mermaiding community since maybe this past January. Everything's happened so fast, but I wouldn't have it any other way because I love being a mermaid so much. It makes me so happy. I probably say this in every single video, but it's just because it's so true, and I love it so much. So, if you're a mermaid, you probably remember the first time you ever swam in a tail or a monofin or even tried a dolphin kick, and I know it's definitely something that comes easier to some people rather than others. For me, I was kind of in the middle. When I was really little, I used to try doing a dolphin kick, and it was not easy. And I felt really bad at it, but I continued to practice that through the years, not really even realizing that I was swimming like a mermaid. I just thought it was really fun, and it looked really graceful in the water. And so by the time I actually bought my first monofin, I found it to be pretty easy. I will say the first swim I ever had in a monofin was a little bit scary. Typically, MERS recommend starting out in the shallow end of the pool and working your way up to the deeper end, but the pool I was at, the shallowest area was 7 feet deep, so I kind of just dove in head first, not literally, and just kind of went for it, and I think that in itself was a little bit scary. I think the first time I swam in a monofin, I expected it to be a lot more graceful than it was. Being underwater can be really disorienting, especially if you're not used to opening your eyes underwater, and I think that was something that I just totally didn't think about. I watched all the videos on YouTube where you can see the mermaids, you can see underwater so clearly on video, and it's so beautiful, and it's just so graceful, and it definitely can be that way once you get used to your surroundings and once you get used to opening your eyes underwater and the feeling of your feet being bound together. But if you're not used to any of that, I can definitely say that it's a little bit disorienting. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. I know I was a little bit nervous, and I went home that day totally hooked on it, but I was afraid that fear was going to get in the way, if that makes sense at all. I was afraid of the fear that I was experiencing, and I was afraid it was going to limit me and make me feel like I can't do this mermaiding thing, it's too scary, but I ended up just going for it anyway, and I just love the community. I didn't want fear to get in the way of me pursuing something that I thought I really might like, so I went ahead and got involved online. I made my mermaid Instagram account and my Mer Network account before I had a tail. All I had was the Mahina that I had just bought online kind of on a whim, and it came really fast. It came within the next day or two, and so I didn't have a tail, just the Mahina, but I went ahead and started reaching out to all kinds of Mers, just asking people for advice of how they became a Mer, and some of the Mers that I followed were Nerdmaid Faith, Abby with Mermaid Vlogs, and a lot of others, the Magic Crafter, all kinds of Mers, and Nerdmaid Faith randomly posted that she was going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, and if any Mers wanted to meet up, that she would love to go for a swim. So I immediately messaged her back, and I was like, Faith, I live in Nashville, and I don't have a tail, but I have a monofin, and I'd really love to swim. And so she messaged me back, and she was telling me that it was going to be this whole big meetup, and they were going to put it together, and she'd let me know all the details when they found out. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to this meetup, even though I only have a monofin, and I've only swam in it once. and I don't have a tail. So that was kind of where I was at. And so I went home to visit my parents who live down in Alabama, and it was my birthday, and they asked me what I wanted, and I told them honestly all I really wanted was a tail, and you can't really get that right away, and it's expensive. And my parents said, well, we'll think about it. At the time, they didn't really know much about mermaiding. They were a little bit wary about what is our daughter getting into. They really weren't on the bandwagon at first. So for my birthday, they said, well, we will just take you to the mall, and you can pick out whatever you'd like, and that way you can get stuff that you like, and we're not just guessing. So I went to the mall, and the first thing I found was a mermaid makeup brush. I'm pretty sure I still have it somewhere. And that was really the only thing I wanted, because at the time my mind was only on mermaiding and how much I wanted to be a mer. And at the time, I just knew that there was no way I was going to be getting a tail in time for this first Nashville Mermaid Pod meetup, as which it would become. And I was okay with it at the time. I was like, okay, you know what? This is what we got. We got our Mahina, which is, honestly, if you only have a monofin, like, monofins are great. I just want to say that real quick. Monofins, like, my monofin is what started it all for me. So I guess I just felt nervous because I felt like everyone else at the meetup was going to have a tail, and I had never even swam in a tail. So I don't know. It made me nervous. But, okay, so fast forward to the weekend. I pick out one thing. It's a mermaid makeup brush because my mind was only on mermaids. And I think I picked out, like, a bottle of lotion or something, but in my head I was like, I just really want a tail, and I felt really weird about it because it was for my 23rd birthday, and I was like, wow, people are probably wanting, like, most people my age probably want, like, a new car or jewelry, or I don't know what most people my age will want, but I wanted a mermaid tail for my 23rd birthday, so and me and my parents randomly decided to go into this camping store with tents and kayaks and fishing gear and all kinds of outdoorsy stuff. And lo and behold, on the wall is a whole display of Fin Fun mermaid tails, including the one right behind me. And I got so excited, and my parents saw how excited I was, and I think from that moment on, they didn't question mermaiding because they just saw how absolutely, like, blissful it makes me and how happy it makes me. And the crazy thing was that the store only had one adult size, and it was that one right there. And they were packaged in a way that you couldn't open them up and try them on. But I was so afraid it wasn't going to fit. I went up to the people at the register, and I was like, is there any way I can try this on? And I think they saw how, like, eager I was for this tail, so they were like, yeah, just go try it on. And I did. And so the first time I ever put a tail on was in the fitting room of this random camping store. I don't even remember the name, at the mall, and on my birthday, and I was the happiest little guppy in the world. And I came home and took a bunch of pictures of me and my tail, and I had a tail to wear to the Nashville Mermaid Pod meetup, and I tried swimming in the tail, I think the next day at the pool, and they told me I couldn't, and I will post a whole nother story about that because that's a whole nother saga. But it ended up being that the first time I ever wore my tail in a pool was at the Nashville Mermaid Pod's first meetup. So that was really momentous for me and such a warm memory. That's what makes me so appreciative of the Nashville Mermaid Pod. Just shout out to y'all, because everyone was so supportive right from the beginning, and I came in there completely new. I had no idea what I was doing, and everyone was so helpful in teaching me different tricks, different even just swimming, even just buoyancy, all kinds of stuff. They were just so helpful and so welcoming, and yeah, that is my story of how I got my first tail. Overall, if there's a moral to this story, I would say it's don't wait for everything to be perfect to go for things because there may never be the perfect timing. If you're passionate about something, just pursue it wholeheartedly, and doors that you wouldn't even imagine could open up will. And there's going to be times where it's frustrating and you might question, is this the right path for me? And I'd say if it's something that you're really passionate about and it follows your values and you're doing it in a healthy way and not overdoing it, then the right doors will open up at the right time. And they definitely did for my tail, my first tail. And yeah, I hope maybe this gives some of you guys inspiration if you've never had a tail and you want one, or if you're thinking about mermaiding but you haven't gotten into it. I hope this gives you guys maybe just some information and some courage to go out there and get a tail. I would say I recommend FinFun wholeheartedly because they are some of the safest tails. They're the easiest to swim in. They're really easy to take on and off, which was something that was so important to me because the first pool I swam in this tail was also pretty deep, and having the ability to take the tail off if I needed to was a really big, how would you say it? Oh my gosh, it was really important for my safety to be able to take the tail off right away if I needed to. And yeah, it comes in a lot of cool colors. If you want fins, FinFun has amazing Atlantis tails that have ankle fins and hip fins, and I think it has a dorsal fin too. I could be wrong. But yeah, there's just so many different options, and I highly recommend FinFun. And I also hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to give it a like if you did, if you enjoyed my story of my first tail. If you have a story of your first tail as well, I would love to hear it. Feel free to comment below what your experience was. What kind of tail was it? How did you get it? How did you decide that you were going to get it? I would love to hear. So comment below. And thank you so much for watching. I will be posting videos every Mermaid Monday starting this Monday. So yeah. And also happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, then I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope it's restful and full of good food and swimming and friendship and all good things. So yeah, love you guys. Bye.